Superfood Evolution presents broccoli sprouts, a delicious sprout variety high in glucoraphanin. Broccoli sprouts, sprouted from broccoli seeds, are a nutritious sprout variety first used in the 1970s along with other sprouts like alfalfa and wheatgrass. Although incorporated as a dietary food source among health-conscious communities around the world, it wasn't until the early 90s that the sprouts became popular amid a more mainstream audience. In 1992, researchers from Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore discovered that broccoli, as well as other cruciferous vegetables, contained a substance referred to as glucoraphanin, a precursor to the natural antioxidant and cancer-inhibiting detoxifying isothiocyanate called sulforaphane. It wasn't until 1997, however, that broccoli sprouts made news article headlines in the New York Times when studies reported that the sprouts potentially comprise between 30 to 50 times more glucoraphanin than the mature broccoli head. Essentially, the fresh sprouts were shown to offer an alternative over consuming the pounds of broccoli you would have to eat to get the same health benefits. As word got out that broccoli sprouts were one of the top healthiest sprout varieties to consume, demand for the seeds for home and commercial sprouting created a temporary global shortage and subsequently increased the price over other types of sprouting seeds in future years. Today, broccoli sprouts are rarely found in stores, but are occasionally available at farmers market stands or grown by local small-scale sprouting businesses. As a result, many people who love the taste and health-enhancing benefits of the sprouts usually grow them at home from the seeds as a microgreen or as a jar sprout. Growing them is quite easy with a few simple supplies and, of course, high-quality organic broccoli seeds. What do broccoli sprouts taste like? If you like the taste of other more neutral-tasting sprouts and you've never had broccoli sprouts before, you're in for a treat. They have a delicious nutty flavor that some people liken to the taste of radish minus the spiciness. Broccoli seeds are often used in sprouting seed mixes to add to the bouquet of flavors that work well with other sprouts like onion, alfalfa, and fenugreek. Broccoli sprouts look similar to alfalfa sprouts but usually have a darker green color. Current research indicates that consuming a small amount daily can benefit conditions like autism and gastrointestinal disorders via its cleansing actions as well as its ability to inhibit the Helicobacter pylori bacteria. When broccoli sprouts are chewed and digested, the glucoraphanin content produces the key constituent sulforaphane, which further helps to detoxify various pollutants we may take in from the environment around us. The sulforaphane glucosinolates found in the sprouted seeds of broccoli are sulfur-bearing compounds like MSM, beneficial as an anti-inflammatory and additionally add to its usefulness as a detoxification agent. The glucosinolates produce pungent oils also found in many of the other crucifers like cabbage, horseradish, and mustard. They are believed to play a large role in the health-increasing effects of this group of vegetables. Likewise, all cruciferous sprouts such as cauliflower, broccoli, and kale are abundant in a number of these glucosinolates, many of which are potent antioxidants. A word about cruciferous vegetables. Cruciferous vegetables all come from the family Brassicaceae, and sprouted broccoli seeds are one of them. Crucifers are potentially goitrogenic, containing certain enzymes that may suppress thyroid gland function and interfere with iodine uptake. Consumption is not normally recommended for those with iodine deficiency or an underactive thyroid. This is especially the case when consumed raw in large concentrated quantities, as would be the case when green juicing. However, a number of past and present studies suggest that large portions of cruciferous vegetables added to the diet can significantly help to lower cancer risk, often displaying chemoprotective properties that reduce the body's susceptibility to carcinogens. Broccoli sprouts and their concentrated phytonutrients are found to be a more convenient alternative as only a minor portion is needed to get the same protective effects and could thus be a more appropriate dose for those with hypothyroidism. What about phytoestrogens? All sprouts contain some degree of phytoestrogens, but typically they are found in higher quantities in alfalfa, clover, pea shoots, and fenugreek sprouts. These plant estrogens can be helpful or harmful to the endocrine system depending on one's individual state of health and the amount consumed. Broccoli sprouts are not considerably high in them compared to those mentioned varieties, but something to be aware of if you are seeking to increase or decrease dietary estrogen. Broccoli sprout nutrition and sulforaphane content. Broccoli seeds themselves actually have substantially high levels of glucoraphanin, but additionally contain the anti-metabolite urusic acid, which inhibits its absorption if consuming the seeds directly. This acid is broken down during the sprouting process, in turn making the sprouts a viable source of this sulforaphane-producing antioxidant compared to the seeds or the more mature versions of the plant. Sprouted seeds contain the enzyme myrosinase needed to digest the glucoraphanin to create sulforaphane. However, glucoraphanin is found in vacuoles within the plant's cell and cytoplasm, where it is isolated from the myrosinase molecules. When the cellular structure of the plant is broken down by chewing and ingesting the sprouts, a chemical reaction occurs whereby myrosinase and glucoraphanin interact to produce sulforaphane. As we mentioned, sulforaphane is the key nutrient studied for its anti-carcinogenic potential and is activated through the chewing process. Although the sprouts are higher in a bioavailable form of glucoraphanin and a better source of vitamin K, they do not have the equivalent nutrition profiles of the mature broccoli vegetable. Nevertheless, they do contain many enzymes as well as some chlorophyll, amino acids, minerals, and vitamins. They have beta-carotene content and 10% more vitamin C than pea shoots, which are an ascorbic acid potent sprout variety. Broccoli sprout powders and extracts. Broccoli sprouts are also available as prepared extracts or freeze-dried powders for those of you who don't like to sprout or don't particularly favor the taste of them. The extracts are usually standardized to include the active constituents at a ratio of 6% glucosinolates and 0.3% sulforaphane. Although the freeze-dried powders are known to have higher amounts of sulfur-rich glucosinolates, there is some controversy about whether the myrosinase enzyme is still present for the efficient breakdown of glucoraphanin. There is some suspected variability from person to person, depending on their own level of intestinal microflora that may aid this conversion process. The benefits of broccoli sprouts. High in glucoraphanin, a precursor of sulforaphane. The immune-enhancing constituent sulforaphane, or SGS, found in broccoli sprouts is one of the phytochemical groups of isothiocyanates common in some of the cruciferous vegetables in the Brassica genus. Out of all the vegetable sprout crucifers, sprouted broccoli seeds are found to have the highest concentrated amount of glucoraphanin and sulforaphane after it is ingested and broken down by the enzyme myrosinase. To a much lesser degree, sulforaphane can also be obtained by consuming sprouts or vegetables like kale, mustard, kohlrabi, radish, arugula, watercress, cauliflower, bok choy, collards, and Brussels sprouts. The first research analyzing the high sulforaphane content in mature broccoli was conducted in the 1992 study entitled A Major Inducer of Anti-Carcinogenic Protective Enzymes from Broccoli. And then in a later 1997 study, the freshly sprouted broccoli seeds were identified as a significantly higher dietary source. Potential cancer-inhibiting compound. In this original 1997 study, it was shown that the sprouts markedly reduced the incidence, size, and number of mammary tumors in laboratory rats exposed to a standard carcinogen. Since this finding, cruciferous vegetables and their sulforaphane components have been the continued subject of extensive investigation in regards to their cancer-inhibiting effects when taken as a preventative measure, specifically for lowering risk of developing tumors rather than to directly eliminate cancerous growths. Broccoli sprouts help to detoxify chemical carcinogens, boost immune response, and protect cells from becoming malignant, mainly working to induce phase 2 antioxidant and detoxification enzymes. In a 2014 study published in Cancer Prevention Research, evidence supported claims that broccoli sprouts are a convenient and rich source of the glucosinolate glucoraphanin, which can generate the chemopreventative agent sulforaphane, an inducer of glutathione S transferases and other cytoprotective enzymes. Broccoli sprouts additionally contain the bioactive agent quercetin, a polyphenol flavonoid that exhibits antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, anti-carcinogenic, and cardioprotective activities. Both of these phytochemicals, sulforaphane and quercetin, have been shown to be potent substances that possess therapeutic properties beneficial in cancers of the colon, breast, spleen, and prostate. How much broccoli or sprouts are needed to produce chemoprotective effects? Some scientific research calculated that one would need to eat an average of 2 pounds of broccoli a week, or the equivalent of 1 ounce of sprouted broccoli seeds, 30 times less, to achieve adequate levels of the health-promoting phytonutrients. Some health experts believe that it is good to add up to 4 to 5 ounces of fresh sprouts per week. Detoxification of air pollutants. As mentioned, sulforaphane glucosinolates contain detoxifying enzymes and sulfuric compounds that have been proven helpful for eliminating unwanted pollutants from the body. In a 2014 study published in the journal Cancer Prevention Research, close to 300 participants living in areas of China known for substantial levels of airborne pollutants were given a beverage made using freeze-dried broccoli sprout powder over a 12-week period. Results indicated detoxification of some airborne pollutants like the carcinogens benzene and acrolein, both produced from car exhaust fumes or the smoke created from burning organic matter or fossil fuel. It was also shown in the same study that sulforaphane may activate a signaling molecule called NRF2, known to increase a cellular adaptive capacity with protective effects against a wide spectrum of environmental toxins. Good for gastrointestinal disorders. The sulforaphane content in broccoli sprouts, when ingested in moderate amounts, has shown to have antimicrobial attributes that inhibit Helicobacter pylori, the bacteria believed to cause gastric ulcers and implicated in conditions like leaky gut and IBS. It additionally normalizes DNA methylation and suppresses viral and other disease-related gene expression. One study indicated that, quote, daily intake of sulforaphane-rich broccoli sprouts for 2 months reduces H. pylori colonization in mice and improves the sequelae of infection in infected mice and in humans. This treatment seems to enhance chemoprotection of the gastric mucosa against H. pylori-induced oxidative stress. Sulforaphane is powerfully bactericidal against Helicobacter pylori infections. Studies on broccoli sprouts for autism. Autism, a neurodevelopmental disorder, especially prevalent in males, affects the brain's information processing and is characterized by diminished abilities to interact socially with restricted, repetitive behavior patterns. It is widely known that autistic children tend to suffer to a large degree from gastrointestinal dysfunctions, with the most extreme cases experiencing the worst GI problems. Current evidence these days supports the commonly accepted belief that autism may be a result of the body's response to a systemic toxic overload. In addition, autistic children often suffer from an imbalance of intestinal gut flora without the proper ratios of beneficial bacteria needed for maintaining optimal immune response and GI functions. In several studies observing broccoli sprout-derived sulforaphane on autistic symptoms, it was shown to not only inhibit H. pylori, but other detrimental intestinal bacteria that tend to dominate healthy strains. As discussed, sulforaphane also promotes detoxification, or the release of stored toxins, a seemingly necessary process for children with autism. The sulforaphane content in sprouted broccoli seeds was suggested to have the, quote, capacity to reverse abnormalities that have been associated with ASD, including oxidative stress and lower antioxidant capacity, depressed glutathione synthesis, reduced mitochondrial function and oxidative phosphorylation, increased lipid peroxidation, and neuroinflammation. In a 2014 study, it was proven that a significantly greater number of autistic participants receiving sulforaphane had improvement in social interaction, abnormal behavior, and verbal communication. While broccoli sprouts and their extracts may be helpful for improving autism or ASD, it might also be appropriate to take other alternative approaches when looking to treat autism through natural dietary means. Specifically, we would recommend the GAPS nutritional program by Dr. Natasha Campbell-McBride and the Body Ecology Diet by Donna Gates. Potential benefits to cardiovascular health. Young fresh broccoli sprouts and their glucoraphanin sulforaphane content are also known to decrease the risk of developing cardiovascular problems by helping to reduce associated hypertension and inflammation with cholesterol-lowering properties beneficial for conditions like atherosclerosis. Growing broccoli sprouts. Germinating broccoli seeds is a little bit tricky to do in warmer climates, as the broccoli plant is typically a cold weather crop. They grow best in spring and fall season or indoors in the winter months. A daytime temp of about 70 to 75 degrees with cooler night temperatures is most optimal. Because of their unique health components, the price of broccoli seeds can sometimes be somewhat high compared to other sprouting seeds. Nevertheless, growing sprouts, generally speaking, is quite low cost to start, with several tablespoons worth of seeds producing a half pound or more of fresh sprouts. Broccoli seeds usually average between $18 to $25 a pound, approximately 50 cents or less per small tray of sprouts. Jar sprouting. Just like growing any other sprout, you must soak your seeds overnight in water. The next day, strain the water through a mesh lid and allow the seeds to germinate, with the jar laying at an angle for water drainage. Simply rinse and strain twice daily until they sprout and produce a set of leaves. On the last day, place them by a window and green them with sunlight. Vertical sprouting. The vertical tray method is one of the best ways to sprout broccoli seeds to get beautiful green broccoli sprouts. Vertical sprouting involves growing them directly on a sprouting tray instead of soil, and soaking and draining them once a day in pure water. Microgreen sprouting. The other option is to sprout them as a microgreen, like wheatgrass, pea shoots, or sunflower sprouts, on a soil medium or hydroponic medium and solution. You can visit our website for more information on this growing technique. The jar sprouting method works fine for producing sprouts. They are just smaller and may be harder to green. It is definitely the easier, more convenient option to vertical and microgreen sprouting, which takes longer. Most of the health-enhancing components have been shown to be especially present in 5-day-old sprouts before the second set of leaves develop. Types of sprouted broccoli seeds. 1. Fresh sprouts, seeds that are jar or tray sprouted. 2. Sprout juice, the freshly grown sprouts juiced through a juicer. 3. Liquid or powdered extracts, typically standardized to contain a ratio of 6% glucosinolates and 0.3% sulforaphane. 4. Freeze-dried powders, potentially containing less amounts of bioavailable sulforaphane but are comprised of beneficial glucosinolates. How to use. Freshly grown broccoli sprouts are a delicious and tasty addition to green leafy salads or in sprout salads used in combination with other sprouts, like mung bean or sunflower greens. They can also be juiced into raw pressed juices to concentrate their health benefits. They are easy to add to nori rolls or veggie wraps and are a great addition as a side sprout with most meals. We recommend the sprout extracts over the freeze-dried powder if you are not a big sprout eater, as they are standardized to contain a specific ratio of glucosinolates and sulforaphane compounds. The freeze-dried powders, as we mentioned, are known to have higher amounts of sulfur-rich glucosinolates, but may or may not be able to effectively produce the sulforaphane constituent. Precautions. When broccoli sprouts or any sprouted seed is grown inappropriately, it can be contaminated with mold, which is especially detrimental to those with mold allergies. It is important to purchase commercially grown sprouts from a trusted organic source that takes precautionary steps to guard against mold, salmonella, and E. coli, as there have been reported cases of sprout contamination. Consult your healthcare provider if you are taking prescription medications. Thanks for watching, and for more super sprouts, visit our website at superfoodsforsuperhealth.com. For trusted sources of broccoli seed products, see the links in the description box below this video. Please support us with a thumbs up if you found this video useful. And be sure and check out these other related videos.